Hey, what's up? It's Tizone, and welcome to the Hitlanders Podcast. My guest host is Lenore, and I got singer-songwriter Shamikas Background. Yo, what's up, y'all?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
So, let's get right to it. So, Shamika, tell us about you, more about you and your career and things like that.
Well, I've been singing since I was about 6 years old, so it's just something that's in my roots, in my blood. And I moved to Atlanta about 7 years ago to pursue my music career after a long stint of being a hairstylist. And so I just wanted to come here to pursue my music, and I arrived here about 7 years ago and been working on it ever since then. Just pushing it, writing these songs, getting in with the times, just doing what I need to do.
Okay. So, how long have you been singing?
I've been singing since I was 6. So it's been over about 25, 30 years. So it's been a long time.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. It's a very long time. Started in church. My grandmother was a singer, and then my mother is a singer as well. So it just came natural.
So what do you sing?
Well, I sing different genres of music. I like singing R&B, gospel. I love jazz. I like rock. So my writing styles vary in those type of genres, but I'm really more into R&B soul.
Okay. So, who are your biggest influence in your singing career? Like, what singers do you look up to?
Well, my favorite singer of all times is Miss Whitney Houston, R.I.P. And I like Phyllis Hyman. I also like Chaka Khan, Anita Baker, Gladys Knight, Mickey Howard. Those are just some of the people that I like as far as women. Men, I like Luther Vandross, Joe, R. Kelly, just, a lot of good singer-songwriters.
Okay. What's your biggest obstacle, in your career so far? So, because a lot of artists always talk about, all the great things. So what's been your obstacle, so far?
If I had to say, I think it would be the perception of people when they see me, because I'm a BBW, I'm a full-figured woman. So that has been, I think, the biggest obstacle, because society kind of wants you in a box, like a size 5 box. And I've never been a size 5. So when they see me, it's always like, oh, she has a really pretty face, but, she just needs to lose some weight. And I really honestly don't think that has anything to do with talent anymore these days. But that's been the biggest obstacle, I think.
So how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, I really don't handle it in a way that most people will, because it's like, I am who I am. So it's kind of like a take it or leave it. I'm kind of a diva in the sense of that, because it's kind of like, this is just who I am. I'm not changing just because people want me to be a certain size. It's the music that counts for me.
So what do you say to those people that have something to say about what they think an image should be?
I say to those people, go to my album and listen to I Am Who I Am, and that will give you insight and an inkling on who I am, what I stand for, and how I won't be stopped just because of what I look like.
So do you think that it's holding you back from reaching your goals?
I can say that sometimes situations like that will hold you back, and a lot of people will stop. I think that it is something that's holding me back. So it's something that I'm working on, as far as still pushing the limits to what I can do. There's artists that are out right now, like Lizzo, that are kind of breaking down those barriers. So I can't even say that it's going to continue to be a barrier for women of my size anymore.
So what keeps you motivated to keep going?
The music keeps me motivated. The fact that I can express myself in song, how I feel, what I'm feeling about what people say or what they do, or just life in itself. That's what keeps me pushing, because no matter what size, I know that I'm going to touch someone with my voice. So, it really makes me a never mind at this point.
Does the comments and the perception of what people think, does that affect your music, your writing, and how does that really affect you, far as like your creativity?
Well, it pushes me to, like I said, break the boundaries of those type of stigmas that people give, and just break the shallowness of how some people can be, how cruel they can be, because we're all different. So I just feel like when I sit down to write, I'm writing about things that I've actually witnessed, went through, feelings that I've experienced, heartbreak, pain, happiness, joy. So those are the things that I write about. When it comes to my size or anything like that, that's the reason why I wrote I Am Who I Am. I really was addressing that situation and kind of like getting people aware of how I feel about how they may feel about me.
So like explain to us, like, what are some of the situations have you been through with your music, like where your size have affected the outcome of things?
Well, I've actually, when I was about 14, I was in the works of a deal with a major record label. And it was one of the situations where, like I said, I've never been a size 5. But at that time, it was an era where sex was really selling and you really had to be sexy. You really had to bear everything to really kind of, sell albums. So at that point, I was very young and I wasn't really into all that. So I think that affected me, as well as, I wasn't the look that they were going for. That's what I was told.
So do you actually think it's a look to a hit record?
No, I don't think that it's a look to a hit record. I think that when you put, just who you are out there, somebody's going to hear you. Somebody's going to listen and not think about what you look like. That's why I think back in the day they used to do album covers without the people on there so they wouldn't be judged. So I think that now in 2020, I don't think that we are as deep into what you look like now versus what if it's going to sound good. Like if it sounds good, then a lot of people are like, it sounds good. Forget what they look like.
So do you get that same like response on like social media? Like, you post something, do you get like the negative comments, or do you get positive feedback, from your music? And, once people see, your image and, things like that. So what type of response do you get?
Well, for the most part, the responses have been very positive, very encouraging. I have had a couple of negative comments. One was basically saying like, oh, she's really pretty, but her size is going to hold her back. And it really stirred up my Facebook page one day because that comment was made. And I responded in a way where I was letting her know that, of course, I look in the mirror, I see that I'm not small. But at the end of the day, I think that it's the music that speaks for me. I don't really have to say much.
So what is it about the music? Like, most people won't go through all of that. Some people, retreat. They won't go through all that. So what is it about music for you that you go through all of this and it's worth it to you?
Well, to me, music is a vibe. It's like a vibe that you put out there, and to the people that are real and they really enjoy music, they're gonna pick up on that. So I think that it's more of creating the vibe of people listening and you really touching someone's heart. Also, I have to, shout out my, the person that my mentor, the person that I work with that produces my things, as far as music, because it's something that it's unmatched. And so when I'm mentored and I get in a creative mode, it's like amazing what comes out of things like that. So I just try to keep myself grounded in the music and, create that vibe that people will want to listen and keep listening.
So you don't see yourself doing anything but music?
Writing and singing, and maybe in the future, maybe teaching, but no, I don't really see anything else. I've tried to do other things other than music, and then I end up finding myself right back.
So it's your true passion.
Yeah, it's really my passion.
So do you think people can really succeed in music if it's not their passion?
Well, I think that people sometimes look at it as more like a hobby than a passion. If it's your passion, you're going to do it whether you get monetary gain off of it or not, because it's just embedded in you. It's something that, you just can't shake. As far as for me, I think that, it's just something that I've always wanted to do. I've never really seen myself wanting to do anything else. Most people want to be like a fireman when they grow up, or a policeman, or, a lawyer, doctor, whatever. But I've always wanted to do music. I've always seen myself on stage.
With that being said, like, how do you feel about like live performing? Like, is that one of like your gifts, or the best part of things? Like, how do you feel about the live aspect?
Well, I think when you're performing live, people actually get a chance to see if you can really sing, if you're really as tight or as good as maybe your album sounds. So I've always been a stickler on live performances, because the first time I sang, it was live, and it was a talent show, and I was 6 years old, and it was just, I think, the energy from the crowd, the cheering, and that really made me want to sing harder and stronger. So I like singing live.
So do you practice a lot?
I do. I practice every day. I sing after pretty much every commercial. I'm always humming. There's always a tune going on with Shamikas Brown. So anybody that really knows me knows that, I'm always singing.
Okay.
So tell everyone what brought you to Hitlanders and with Tizone.
Well, I think I was live on Facebook, or I posted me singing something on Facebook, and one of my friends was on Facebook as well, and was like, you really should check out this producer, because, he's done a lot of, important stuff with a lot of people. You're both in the same place. And, it was like, we hooked up, and he was just like, I really like your sound. I really, would like to work with you. And I was like, I would like to work with you as well. And ever since then, he's been mentoring me and getting me, prepared for the industry, teaching me, the business side of it versus, the part of, you just coming in and thinking that you're going to just pop and be famous, because that's initially what I came to Atlanta thinking, but it wasn't as easy as I thought. So it's just something that together we've been working on, and just, we just been creating hits.
So when you came to Atlanta, you said that it wasn't as easy as you thought. What did you think, and what was the actual reality of it?
Well, I thought that I would come here, and because I could sing and hold a tune, that, just miraculously one day I would just get discovered by somebody, and they would whisk me off into fame land. But the reality of that was I didn't know the business side of it. I didn't know the marketing behind it and everything that it takes. It's not just the talent. It has to be at least 90% business, and you have to make sure that you invest in yourself and making sure that you are, perfecting your craft every day, all day, making everything better, and just, trying to strive. So the reality of it is it's a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work.
So what makes you want to put in that work? Because it is a lot of work, with this industry, and a lot of artists think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump up, I'm gonna go to Atlanta, oh I'm gonna go to L.A. and then they say, oh well, it's too cliquish. It's cliquish down in Atlanta. It's cliquish in L.A. Like, I think if you got hits and you got talent and you're doing the proper business, it don't matter about a clique, because people in this business to make money. And if they see value in you, they're going to let you into that clique. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they fool themselves in thinking that they're bigger than what they really are. Because I've ran across artists where I would ask them to come, okay, and do a performance. Oh no, I don't do performances. You'll see me on stage. I can't perform right here. And it's like, really? So if you can't perform right here in front of me, what makes you think you're gonna get up in front of thousands of people and perform and think that you're ready? Because if you claim that you're an artist and you're ready, you can perform anywhere, whether it's one person, 10 people, or 10,000. So that's what I think. I think artists have the misconception of, the entire business. Like how you came to Atlanta and thinking, oh yeah, I can outsing, anybody or whatever. And then where did it get you?
Well, it got me, you know, looking and searching for a good sound. I think a lot of people are, on the what they call the Atlanta hype. So they hype themselves up into thinking that they're going to just come here and, meet Tyler Perry and get on, or meet another famous producer and get on. And, so people are just on the hype of it. But the reality is, this is like the mecca of music. So it's a lot of people here. It's a lot of talented people that are here. It's a lot of musicians, producers, singers, photographers, anything that you can think of as far as entertainment. So the reality is you're a small fish in a big pond. And, in order to, swim your way up to the top, you have to get grounded, number one. Number two, make sure that you work harder than the rest of the people that are here. And then start, really getting your name out there so that people can kind of know who you are.
So how do you stand out, in this big pond with all of this talent down here? How is it that you're going to stand out? What makes Shamikas Brown, the one to watch, the one to look at, and, you're going to stand out from the next singer that can really, really sing, and has the image? What's going to make you stand out?
Well, I think the advantage that I have right now, a lot of people think that it's not my size, but I think the advantage that I have right now is my size, because it's like when I walk into a room, I pretty much demand the attention. I don't yearn for it. I don't ask for it. I just kind of get it. So what makes me stand out is I'm a people's person. I, love to let people know what I'm doing, what's current, follow me here. This is what I got coming up. What kind of music do you like? If you hear my voice, what do you hear from me? Those kind of things. When I meet people, that's kind of what I ask. And I think what makes me stand apart from that is because a lot of people are looking for that, the sexy size 5 type singer that's into in the gimmick of what they're looking for, and then when they see something that it's not, and then I'm a plus size woman and I feel just as sexy as a size 5 woman, I think that's what makes me stand out. My voice is something that's definitely unique. I come from different genres of what I listen to, so I really can't be put in a classification of, oh, she sounds like this or she sounds like that. It's just like I feel like I sound like me, and I'm a mixture of just soul of what I grew up on, like all of the great people that came before me to pave the path of like R&B. So it's just basically I am R&B.
And to compete and be at the top, what's like your work ethic? I know you said like, you hum between commercials, and, if it was that easy for everyone, like, I'm saying, everyone would be at the top, like, and as a singer, I know it takes a lot. What does it take for you?
Well, I have a lot of teaching methods like vocal coaching, videos and CDs, and training that I got, from my producer. So I do those things every day. If I'm at lunch, I try to put one of them on just to make sure that, I'm in tuned. I've been taught how to control my vibrato, just so many things within the last couple of years. And so I keep that with me every day, and I practice that and I exercise that to make myself better. So it's just a win-win all around. When I'm up, I'm singing. So I'm humming, I'm hitting notes, I'm practicing how to breathe. I'm doing all those things wrapped into one. Hours in a day.
And I know working with Tizone, I know, he's a work hog. And,
Workaholic.
Yeah, he really likes to bring the best out in people. So how is it as far as taking criticism as far as the music and being an artist? Like, how do you make that work for you to be constructive criticism, to be the best?
Well, I think that from the beginning, he basically kind of was like on me, like as far as like, my vibrato, like, you got to get control of that. So I worked on that for a good year and a half. Not only that, just the work ethic that he has, like he does he's on his computer, posting and doing this all the time. So it just encourages me to kind of get up and, get on it as well. As far as just like the constructive criticism, I feel like it only has made me stronger as an artist. I don't, take it as, he's being mean about it or anything like that. I just take it as, he knows or he sees the potential that I don't even see in myself and is going to bring that out of me. So I don't take offense to constructive criticism.
So in this business, how important do you think it is to have a great team?
Well, I don't think that anybody can really make it without a team. Like it would be pretty much impossible to, make it without people that are, 100% loyal, have your back, and want the best for you in that particular industry. So I think that, loyalty is royalty in this industry. And then you need to definitely have people that are around you that are loyal, because that's going to push you, to not only help yourself, but the people that are around you on your team.
Because in this business, you get a ton of artists who have this idea of how they want to make it, and they don't really go down the path of how, the actual path of success. They have this image in their head of, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I see my project like this, and go against what the team is actually, setting them up for, setting that, that path to success. And early in your career, with Hitlanders, you had some ups and downs. A lot of artists want to glorify all the, the ups and downs, but you were one of those artists that couldn't see our vision, So me and Lenore would sit and talk about, how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. And then we come with a plan, and you would do something totally different from what we had planned, and it's like all screwed up, So like, why do you think artists do that?
Well, I think, like I said, they're on the hype of things. I think that in the beginning, I thought that just because, we had hit songs and a bomb album, that things would just take off from there. So I kind of had it embedded in my mind how I wanted it to go. And I think that a lot of times artists don't know how to humble themselves and take direction. So it's kind of like, you see the videos already done. You see, the famous people and singers making all the money, and that's all that you see. But you don't see the work that goes behind the scenes and the people that make it happen and the people that actually have the plan designed for you and kind of mapped out. So I think a lot of artists, instead of them following what the plan is as set forth before them, they go, down their own path and try to, devise their own plan. And I'm a living testament that it does not work. So you should just humble yourself and do what you need to do to get it, to get done as the team, because it's not just about you.
So that was like your learning lesson, huh? Humble yourself and really
girl, sit down
and really take the guidance.
Shut up.
Because it's a really hard business, and you have to let people guide you that have the experience, to take your career to the next level. And a lot of artists have the talent, but they fail because they can't see, the plan. And it's not like, the plan is not, put together or presented properly. It's just the image that they have in their head. Like, no, I want this person to shoot my video. Well, you seen his work? No, that's my friend.
Yeah.
I want my friend to do this. Oh, I want this person to shoot my pictures because I knew him when we was in high school. I want this person to do this because, oh, that's my cousin's cousin. And it's like, no, this is a business. So you battle with the artist because the artist is in a personal mode. And we're in a business mode because me and Lenore would sit down and we would discuss all of these different things for your project, and it goes left because you didn't see the actual plan that we were putting together. And it's not like it wasn't presented. It was basically you had everything already mapped out in your head,
my mind.
and you couldn't see this whole plan.
Right.
So it would make me start pulling back from the project. And I'm like, okay, she has the talent, but how can I guide her? And I will pull back. And then Lenore will say, I think you need to keep working with her. You need to try this.
She had my back. Girl power. Girl power.
And we had tons and tons of conversation. And I'm like, okay, I got to pull back from this project because she's not listening. And we're right at the gate, but she don't get it, and Lenore can tell you more, even about the conversations because we used to have, battles back and forth,
They
back
was
and
talking
forth.
about me.
We sure was.
Yeah, we was talking
I was
about
something
you.
to be talked about. I'm telling you, like in the beginning, it was because I think it was like, after you dream about it for so long, you haven't mapped out in your mind what it is that you want, not what it is that someone has prepared for you, especially somebody with your background and experience. And I think that in the beginning was something that I just could not let go of, which was my vision. So once you started to back off and the reality started to set in, like, okay, first of all, you're not going to be able to go nowhere else to get this sound. And, just the time and the effort and the artist development and all that. So it's kind of like I had to sit and reflect on, is this something that you really want? And if so, how bad do you want it? And can you find it within yourself to pull back from what it is that you want and just let someone guide you? Because I think I was kind of used to always being in control. I'm a control freak. So I had to pull back from that and just kind of humble myself and let the teacher teach and me be the student.
And I think, too, most of it goes back to belief. It's about, like, even when you talk about the team and it's about those that believe, like, yes, the up and downs, but when you have those that believe in you and believe the talent and believe that, like, where you can go with it with just guidance, and that helps you bring you back and center you where you need to be when you have the belief to stick it out, because that talent is there, the opportunity is there, and you really don't get that with a lot of people. You go elsewhere and you kind of figure out, like, these people really don't have your back, or they just want to do this just to benefit them or whatever it is, but they don't have a true belief. And I think, like, even like when you came to us, like, and what we heard, and like I said, we believed in you from the beginning.
Sure did.
Because of the talent and and knowing that it's workable.
Right.
It's just the belief, and that's the major thing that people have to realize is, like, when you have somebody that believes in you, that's what helps you get through the industry and through these situations when the belief is there.
Right, because that's what it's all about. We believed in you, from day one. It had nothing to do with size. It had nothing to do with anything else but your talent. And we believed in that from day one. And
Thank you.
We want, you to win. So that's why we push you so hard. That's why we stay on you. That's why we demand nothing, short of greatness from you. Because anybody that we deal with, we go hard for. Because if we believe in you, then it's a wrap. We going all the way.
And even like when you first came, and like we said, it's like, you was the jukebox, because it's like we put you to the test. We like, what you got? Sing something. Sing something again. What else? What else you got? And you just kept spitting it out, just everything. Just like that showed us that, like, the talent is there. And it, even with your stories and people, like, like we said, with the image part of it. And it's like we saw through all of that, and we saw even like your passion for it. It's like for someone to come in here and sing these songs, and you just kept going and going and going and going.
Every song we named.
Didn't miss a lyric, didn't anything. You just kept going, like, okay, that has to mean something to people, despite what they might see or what they think an image has to be. And even like what I said, it's like, people are going to listen to the voice. They're going to hear your voice, and that's what's going to determine, what other people might think of image and all that. But once they hear your voice, then they're gonna know who you are.
Exactly. Because I always believe in, if you riding in your car and you turn on the radio and you hear a great song, you hear a hit record, you're not thinking about, okay, how this person look, not the consumers. I think the major record labels planted, that, stereotype, into the business that you have to look like this to have a hit record. When, people singing along with these records and you in your car, you don't see the album cover or whatever. You hear a great song. You hear a great voice.
Yeah.
This is the music business. It's like, this not the Vogue magazine or whatever.
Right.
It's the music.
Not the Size 5 Club.
Exactly.
Right. The expectation is to sing. You want someone
that can sing. Exactly. So when you sit back and you start eliminating all of those, these fictitious things, then you start, peeling away those layers and you see the talent. Everything else can be worked. But when you got the true talent of an artist, like, somebody, your caliber, where you can sing, you can write a song, you could, capture any of the emotions, that's to be, respected. And that's what I look at. So I don't sit back and be like, oh, we need this image or we need that. Of course, we want everything to be top notch, but it's not, a judgment club, right, where we sitting back like, oh, well, we're not going to do a record on her because she's not as small as the other girl, that we was working with. No, it's not about that. It's about who has the drive, who has the passion, the dedication, who's willing to put that work in, who's going to try to match my work ethic. That's what I look at. If you can outwork me, we going to the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We going to the top because I'm going to work and work and work.
And work and work and work and work.
And then work some more.
And work after that.
And then all those other things will come. The things that need to be worked on, that all that stuff comes with the artist development, shows, all that rehearsals, all that stuff, just the other stuff comes with all of that.
Yeah, I just think people get, too far into, this image thing. And that's why a lot of, music today, like even with R&B, it's lacking substance because everybody just painting pictures of the image.
Exactly.
And they not focusing in on the music because they too busy worried about, okay, how I look. Oh, how I'm going to post this on Instagram. Oh, was the lighting right on this?
Right.
Okay, yeah, you got all of that right. But now your records suck.
Yeah.
Now you just putting out anything. And you hear these records and it's like, be horrible to me. To be honest.
That's not R&B.
Exactly.
I think the essence of R&B...
rhythm and bullshit.
Yeah. I think the essence of it kind of died down when, people really kind of started to get more into, rap started to take over and pop started to take over, and love, just love kind of started to grow cold. People really didn't want to hear about love anymore, love songs, or, back in the day, a man used to, sing you a love song and woo you, and, your panties might be dropping or something. You don't know, So, but now it's like, everything is just kind of so hardcore. And I think now is the time for us to kind of get back to that, love and sensitivity and emotion, because people have gotten so hard to where it's difficult for them to express themselves. So I think R&B and true love songs really express how you feel and kind of draw the other person in, of the opposite sex, into what you're trying to say, and just kind of it makes you feel good. Like, good music makes you feel good.
Yeah. It definitely does, and it's an emotion. If you can capture that emotion in the record, then you did your job, because you're trying to will the listener into your environment, into your mind, into the idea that you had for that song. So that's what you have to do, and I think that's something that you're real good at, is making the listener buy your story.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's one of your strong points.
And I definitely have a story to tell. It's like if I'm it's a funny story. If I'm dating a guy and we break up, and I usually tell him, like, if I break up with you and I write a song about you, it's over. If you get a song written about you, once that song is done off wax and it's over, it's over. I don't want to be with you no more. That's over. That's it. It's on wax. We're going to leave it right there.
And what you had to say.
That's
exactly.
It's done.
Say it's done. Say it.
So when my album came out, my ex called me, was like, was that song about me, or what song was that about? I'm like, you'll never know. You'll never know. You my ex for a reason.
Right. So tell us more about your album.
Well, my album is called I Am Who I Am, of course. It's like a banger, and it's just basically a reflection of me. I have songs on there that I wrote when I lived in Florida, and then we came together and collabed on some songs. So it's just a collection of my hard work, my pain, the things that I've been through, how I felt about the things that I've been through, and I just manifested that into, the album, and it's my baby. It's something that I am super duper proud of and excited. And I thank God that I was able to just even get to that point, because a lot of people don't even get a chance to do an album. They don't get a chance to work with a multi-platinum producer. They don't get a chance to experience what I have since moving to Atlanta, the ups and the downs. So it's definitely something that I had to put into that album. So when people listen to it, they'll, definitely get an idea of who Shamika Brown is, and, in what direction she will be going in.
Okay. What's your favorite song on the album?
Oh, I knew you was going to ask me that. Oh, my favorite song would have to be Break the Rules.
Break the Rules. Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
I knew you was going to Break the Rules. Break the Rules is my favorite. It's kind of like, I don't know why you asked me that, because it's kind of like Break the Rules is my favorite song, but I Am Who I Am is like my baby. So it's kind of like a toss up between those two for me. And the reason why is because when I wrote Break the Rules, I was at a very, very sad, dark place. And then I Am Who I Am came, and then I kind of like released it. So, because I'm rapping on there, I'm flowing on that and doing all kind of stuff. So it was kind of like a toss up between those two. But
so what's the concept of Break the Rules?
Well, Break the Rules is kind of like I was speaking of, being in love with someone who was in love with someone else. And I was in a relationship and I was actually engaged and he ended up marrying someone else. So
Wow.
I gotta
Okay.
go back and listen to that.
I need to re-listen to the song now.
so and it was crazy because I, the ring that I had picked out for myself and got custom made, he ended up giving her my ring. And so that song, I mean, I wrote it like years ago and it just kind of stuck with me. So I think that once I was holding on to that, and then when I did break the rules, it kind of released me from that particular pain, because it was something that I always thought about for a while. And, now me and him are really good friends. So, it's
How? How is that after all of that?
well, the thing was he went thinking that the grass was going to be greener on the other side, and probably like 6 months into the marriage, he was just like, no, I want to come back to you. I want to come back to you. And I'm like, no, you don't want to come back to me. I'm like, there's another woman walking around with your last name and she has on my ring. So there's nothing that I can be but a friend of yours.
and you wrote the song.
And I wrote the song, and after I wrote the song, it was over. Yeah, once I wrote that song, it was over. It was already out and out of my system after it was put on wax. So, that kind of released me from that chapter, I think, of my life. I think sometimes we hold on to a lot, and so your past definitely will follow you if you don't have a method of letting it go. So I think that music is my method of letting it go. It's my therapy. So yeah, but we're good friends now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
20 years later.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was interesting. I didn't think that song was about that, but now I need to go back. I need a lyric sheet.
Yes.
I need a lyric sheet for that one, because that's
And
deep.
then I broke back out with I Am Who I Am. It's like, take it or leave it. Because I know sometimes in a relationship, you'll get wrapped up and you'll lose yourself in that person. And you kind of look in the mirror one day and you don't really recognize yourself because the pain kind of cuts deep. And so, once that was over and finished, I Am Who I Am was born. So it's just like, moving forward, next, moving along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But yeah, go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I definitely got to do that. I'm definitely going to listen to that.
Yes.
So, were you one of the artists that always wanted to be on a major record label versus independent? What was your goals, and what is your goal now?
Well, I think in the beginning, yes, I wanted to be, a part of a major label, because the funds are behind you. You get the glitz and the glam of everything. You have the huge team, the big budget. You have all of those things. But then, as I started to do more independent projects, I kind of, enjoyed that more, because you're able to create more of what it is that you like, and you're able to not really be just told you need to stick in this lane and this is what we want from you. So it wasn't as demanding. I mean, I was at the door of a major label, but like I said, it was more so of imaging and things that they wanted. So when you're independent, you can kind of be a little rebellious if you want to say a cuss word or two in your song, or, reference something. You're a little bit more amped to do that and able to do that when you're more independent, and you get to, keep your money, more of your money. You got to keep sharing it with nobody who already got a lot of money.
So, well, that leads into the power of ownership. You see a lot of artists asking about masters and all of that. So how do you feel about the ownership parts of the music industry? Because most of the record labels, when they sign you, all artists looking for these major record deals, the label is gonna pretty much own everything. So, like, how do you feel about that? You think it's worth it, to get the glitz and the glamour?
Well, I think that, if glitz and glamour is all you want, that's cool. But, if you want to really, be successful in this industry, you have to create a stream of income where it's going to pay you to do what it is that you love to do, like, your job. So I think that a lot of people get wrapped up into the hype of being, famous versus, being more creative. Like I'm kind of, solid when it comes to that. Like I like to be able to create my own music versus someone telling me what I need to create. So I think that it's kind of like a catch-22. I mean, of course the major labels, they have the budget. They have everything that most people dream of. They can give it to you, but at what cost? What are you going to sacrifice in order to, get that? So I think a lot of people have been switching, like even a lot of major artists who used to be a part of major labels kind of see it, now if you're independent, you get to, keep a lot of what you worked hard for, like your ownership of your music and stuff like that, versus you having to, share it or, put it out there and not really reap the benefits of, your hard work. Like it goes to someone else.
Mm-hmm. So what parts of the business have you learned since, you started? Because most artists start out just doing music. So what have you learned, about the business side of it?
90% business, 10% talent. And also just, the marketing behind it, the consistency, like it has to be something that's consistent because it's like you can't run a successful business without being consistent. So you have to look at yourself as a brand. You have to carry yourself as a brand. Everything that you do and everything that you say, can affect your brand and it can affect your money. So you just basically have to look at it in that sense of it, like you are your business. So when you're out, you should be promoting your business if you're an independent artist. If you're, inside, you should be like on your phone or your computer pushing your stuff, 24 hours a day. With social media now, you shouldn't, there's no barriers that are up like it used to be. And people are online now more than ever, due to like Corona and stuff like that. So people are inside listening more to music. So this is a great time to be, an independent artist out there promoting yourself.
So basically, like most artists think, okay, I got a team. I can just go back and just do music and I don't have to do anything else. And I'm going to let my team do that.
Exactly.
So that's basically like the big misconception, of the whole entire industry. And that's why a lot of artists go and try to do major record deals because they think that the label is going to do the work for them.
Well, even the labels now, you have to come to the labels now already pretty much packaged up. They're not spending as much money as they used to, spend on artists because, with social media and stuff like that, they're looking now at, your following, your Instagram, your Facebook, how many people are really interested in you to see if they're even going to take the plunge of making you an artist. And I think that's pretty smart because they're looking at the platform of, independent labels and stuff like that. And, people that are making a lot of money overseas doing independent works and stuff like that. So now you can't just... Record labels aren't just taking you just because you're talented. You have to come with already packaged up and polished pretty much. And they want to do as less as possible and kind of, get in where they fit in as far as like with what and who, the fan base that you've built already. So it's not as easy now to get in with a major label as people may think.
Even with the independent, it's probably not as easy. So a lot of independent artists will go to an independent label and they think that they have a lot of free will or like everything I say goes because I'm the artist. I'm going to make this type of music. I just need for you to do this. because you're an independent artist, and a lot of people think that because they're independent, that they do make all the decisions of, this is my project, this is how I want it to be, this is how I want it to sound. But when you go, even with the independent label, like, so how do you handle when, like we talked about before, with the direction of being with a multi-platinum producer that, and a company that basically been there, done that, and has a direction for it? And so how do you deal with that as a, like with a lot of independent artists that well, that's not really what I want to do as an independent artist? Like, what do you do in those situations, or how do you handle those situations working with an independent company?
Yeah, basically, like, how do you basically come to a mutual agreement of what's gonna be done for the artist's best interest? Because a lot of artists make decisions and it's not for their best interest, it's just what they want.
Because they're independent.
So how do you determine the difference between the two? What you want versus what's best for you?
Well, I know in the instance of me, especially with working with a multi-platinum producer, I have to understand, and I did have to understand and learn that you've already been places that I'm trying to get to. So if I can't take, and pull myself back from myself and, listen, understand, and know that, where I'm trying to get to, you've already been there. You have the plaques, you have, the album. So I think that most independent artists, they'll get with, multi-platinum producers, or they'll go to a top-notch studio thinking that, oh, this is what I want, and, I want what I want. But a lot of times they end up not getting what they want because they don't know how to take direction, and they don't know how to follow. And, when someone has already been down music road and been in the industry as deep as you have, it would only be foolish to not be able to humble yourself enough to understand that, if you lead, then I'll follow in the path that you're going, because I know that, the chances of me getting it with someone who already has been there versus somebody who has not even touched, 10,000 copies sold or anything like that. It would be just stupid. So I think a lot of artists, out there, if you're listening, learn how to follow. Sometimes learn how to submit and kind of get your mind offset on what it is that you thought it was going to be, and just learn to listen. That's all I can really say. As far as being creative, if you're working with a producer that is really not letting you be creative, then I think that that's the point where you can talk about it, talk it out, polish up some ideas that you may have, and then when the time is right, I'm pretty sure that somebody in that stature would make the best decision for you, and then it's going to work out.
Yeah, I've worked with a ton of artists where I've tried to make creative changes, and they would say, well, this is exactly how I wrote it, I don't want to change anything, or I just want a beat like this. And from experience, I've been down, certain paths and said, what, this record don't usually work. It's kind of hard to do this particular sound. I think we need this and I need that. And then the artist say, no, I don't want this and I don't want that. So I've, made compromises and went the artist's direction, and then the artist fail. Then they say, well, why did you let me do that? You're a platinum producer, multi-platinum producer. It's your fault for letting me do that.
It's
but
your
then
fault for not listening.
Right. But you wanted it your way. So now it becomes my fault when you fail. So that's the biggest confusion, working with a lot of indie artists, because they want it their way, but when it fails, it's the producer's fault. And it's like, no, it's not my fault. You got exactly what you wanted. This is the vision that was in your head. You wasn't thinking about, if this record was going to work for the masses. You was thinking about if this record was going to work for your family, your immediate family.
Oh, your town.
Exactly. Oh, my boys like this record. Oh, my best friend said she liked this and wants to change this. It's like, okay, I've had artists come in and say, my friend said change this. And like, okay, do your friend do music? Do she know anything about music? No, it's just my friend. Well, what about this 11 million records that I got hanging on my wall over here? That don't count for anything. So do your friend have plaques? Do your friend have
Does your friend have 1,000 copies sold?
Like over 20 years of experience, in the music industry? No, but that's my friend. She said this. And then the record failed, and it's my fault. So it's like, that's the reason why I pull back from like working with a lot of indie artists, because they want it their way until it fails.
They think that's the perks of being an independent
Exactly.
artist. I can make the decisions and I can do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Nah, don't work like that, y'all. It don't work like that.
Because I try to do, what's best for the record itself. How can we make the best record that's going to appeal to the masses? Because at the end of the day, this is a competition. You're trying to make the best record. When you thinking about getting on Billboard and, charting, you're trying to get to the number one spot. So that makes this a competition. So you have to you have to do the best possible record, not just what you like, because it's a formula. So if you're not following, how you're going to get there, having the fundamentals of a hit record, then what do you expect? So you can make records for your block, your boys, your homegirls. You could do all of that. But find somebody's homeboy or they block that bought 1 million records. Did your friend buy 1 million records?
Did your friend even buy a copy?
Exactly. Your friend wanted to get in the concerts for free.
Yeah, she wanted it free.
Exactly. So find me where your friend downloaded 500,000 records to make you go gold. So they shouldn't be making, all the decisions in your career. So when you fail, after you made all the decisions, don't come back to me and say, well, maybe it was the beat. Maybe it was you didn't mix it right. No, maybe you just didn't follow the plan and do what you needed to do. Maybe you didn't promote this record as an artist. You put it out and posted one time on your Facebook page, and you think you're supposed to go platinum, and you're trying to project your first week sales like you Lil Wayne or somebody.
And then people don't understand, a lot of like places like Facebook and stuff like that, once they see that you're posting music and links and all that kind of stuff, it's usually blocked pretty much anyway. So everybody that's on your friends list is not going to see what you're posting anyways. No. So you're going to just, you'll definitely have to either advertise or pay for advertising through Facebook or Instagram or something like that, just for, thousands of people to even see it. Like they monitor that kind of stuff. Yeah. So if you're not into algorithms and things like that, and knowing like to post, your stuff consistently every day around the same time, or it's a pattern to how you need to be on social media. If you don't even know that part of the business, then you're pretty much lost anyways. Cause I've never, posted something on my Facebook and just, oh my gosh, I just went platinum. I just posted my album and it went platinum. No, you have to work. You have to continue to post. You have to continue to send it out. You have to continue to get feedback from it, share it, like it, have people subscribe to your channel, those kind of things.
I know we talked about the album, but since the album, you've had a couple projects and singles since then. Let everybody know a little bit about the other stuff after those things and your like social media, where they can hear those things at.
Well, my social media, my Instagram is Shamika B Music. I'm on Facebook as Shamika Brown. The projects that I've done since the album was a play called Gleaning. That was, one of the songs on there was like number 19 on the soul charts in London. So I was really excited about that. I did a couple of interviews in London. They actually love I Love Him Not. So that was on the Play project that I did. Then I did a single called Bullshit, because people be on that bullshit. They be on that bullshit. And so so I did that, and that was just another banger. Like, nothing comes out of here but hits at Hitlanders. So all of the projects that, that we do, it's like every time I hear it or like, listen to it or people hear and I get good feedback from it, it just makes me feel really, really good. And it just makes me want to work harder and push more. The new single, What Would You Do? We just put that out. And it's just basically, a reflection of people in relationships, kind of like twisting and turning the tables. Like, if somebody does something to you, like what would they think if you did it to them? So we just, stay consistent in what we're doing and pushing forward to get to another album. All of the singles that we have are just, reflections and reflections of good music and good teamwork is my idea of everything.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Sure does. There's no I in team.
So let everybody know what's next. What are your goals? What are you striving for? What can they look forward to?
Well, just look forward to seeing me a lot more. Upcoming videos, we're pushing those out. More pictures, a lot of apparel. I definitely we've been talking about doing like clothing and all kinds of different stuff, branding. So look forward to that. Just more good music. We're looking to, 2021 pushing a new album. So make sure that you guys, go to shamikabrown.com and put your email in so that we can send you all the updates on everything that's coming up. A lot of live shows are coming. Hopefully we can, get these masks off of our faces and get back to regular life. So I'm just excited about what's next for me. And I just appreciate everybody that's coming along for the ride.
Okay. If you could give, up and coming artists like one word of advice, what would you tell them?
Be humble. Sit down. Listen. Make sure that you have a catalog. It's just not gonna, one song, if you write one song, that's just not gonna cut it. You need at least 100 songs written. Be patient, because it's not gonna happen overnight, even though in your dreams it might have happened, overnight. But, just be patient, be humble, and, just make sure that you're using your gift to the best of your ability. And, touch people with it.
All right. Well, I guess, that's the end of this. So
Shamika B.
Yeah. We appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thanks for helping me. Thanks for motivating me and mentoring me and encouraging me. Like, I needed that. I needed that push. Because when I came, I was hard-headed.
Very, very hard-headed. Lenore saved you.
I ain't hard. Lenore saved me, and I ain't hard-headed no more, y'all. I'm not. I promise. I'm not.
She saved you.
I ain't hard-headed no more. I gotta listen.
That was your guardian angel right there.
Oh, I already know.
One save.
Exactly. So no more saves. No more saves. You got to do right from here on.
I'm saved. I am saved, sanctified, and filled with Hitlanders, okay?
All right. Appreciate you coming by.
Yes.
Getting on the Hitlanders Podcast.
Thanks. I
And we'll be
appreciate
looking out for more. Appreciate you, Lenore, for
More
coming,
come.
sitting in.
Lenore.
You got to come in and, do a little bit more hosting with us.
I know.
It was fun. It was fun. So you'll know about that, huh?
I'm going to stick with behind the scenes.
You behind the scenes. All right. Stay tuned for more of the Hitlanders Podcast. All right. We signing off. If you enjoyed this podcast, please support by leaving a review and a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Your support is greatly appreciated.